US Air Force began developing this air-launched anti-satellite missile known as ASAT to destroy enemy satellites after the Soviet Union demonstrated its ability to attack satellites in space. At the tip of this two-stage missile was a miniature homing vehicle (MHV) with infrared seeker and 64 small solid-fuel rocket motors. Once it separated from the missile, the MHV homed in and destroyed a satellite by direct collision rather than by a warhead, a concept known as hit to kill. The ASAT maximum intercept altitude was at least 560 km (350 miles). Five of these ASATs were flight tested. Once launched from an F-15 fighter, successfully intercepted and destroyed an orbiting US satellite in 1985. The Air Force cancelled the ASAT program in late 1980.
One that you are seeing is AGM-86A cruise missile, speed of 800 km per hour, range of 1125 km.
AGM-86A cruise missile was first version of US Air Force air-launched cruise missile designed to carry either a conventional or nuclear warhead. It had a turbofan jet engine, flew at subsonic speed, and used an inertial navigation system with terrain contour matching radar. Because the missile flew close to the ground, it was difficult for enemy radars to detect. Most AGM-86As were used in flight test in 1976. Missile never became operational. Subsequent versions of ALCM with conventional or nuclear warhead and longer range have been produced and deployed on B-1 and B-52 bombers. Shuttle Radar Topography Mission Payload. In 2000, Space Shuttle Endeavour carried into orbit the Shuttle Radar Topography Mission Payload, a novel hardware system used to produce a highly detailed three-dimensional map of more than 70% of Earth's surface. The mast canister and outboard structure and antennas displayed here were crucial component of that payload. SRTM features a main antenna in the shuttle payload bay, folding mast 60 meters, and another antenna at the end of mast. This dual antenna system, largest rigid structure then flown in space, produced 3D mapping through interferometry, a technique of combining data obtained separately by two antennas. SRTM was joint undertaking of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and Defense Department's National Imagery and Mapping Agency. The military will use the highest resolution data for terrain navigation for airplanes and cruise missiles. Lower resolution data will be made available to civilian scientists and others. TMC-61C Matador cruise missile was second version of surface-to-surface US Air Force Matador cruise missile. It carried a nuclear warhead and flew at subsonic speed at an altitude of up to 13 kilometers or 8 miles. The TMC-61C was boosted during its launch by solid fuel rocket engine, which fired for less than 3 seconds and then was jettisoned. A jet engine that powered it the rest of the way to the target. Ground-based microwave emitters assisted the missile in finding its target. However, these limited the missile's range to that of line of sight transmission and could be jammed. The TM-61C was deployed at various sites in Europe and Asia from 1957 to 1962 and was replaced by more advanced Mace cruise missile. Termite missile. The P-15 termite, Russian for termite or sticks, NATO code name, it's a surface-to-surface anti-ship missile that Soviet Navy put into service in 1958. A solid fuel booster, not shown in here, launched the missile and built-in turbojet engine sustained its flight. The Soviet Union supplied its allies with these missiles, some of which saw action in combat. On October 21, 1967, almost 5 months after the Arab-Israeli Six-Day War, Egyptian termite missiles sank the Israeli destroyer Iliad.
This thing is a regular one cruise missile.
The Regulus 1 was the first operational US Navy cruise missile designed to attack ground targets. It carried a nuclear warhead and flew at subsonic speed up to an altitude of 9,144 meters, 30,000 feet. Two boosters assisted in launch for a short period and then were jettisoned. Turbojet engine powered the missile the rest of the way to its target. The missile was deployed on several aircraft carriers, heavy cruisers, and submarines in watertight containers on the deck. From 1955 to 1964, radio signals from control aircraft or other submarines were the primary means of guiding the missile. A more advanced missile, the Regulus II, was developed but never deployed as a replacement. The Polaris, the first US submarine launched ballistic missile, instead replaced the Regulus I.
Pretty big, pretty nasty. And this one
Nike Ajax missile.
Ajax missile.
The Nike Ajax was the first US operational surface-to-air missile. It included a powerful solid fuel booster and a second sustainer stage which used a liquid fuel engine. Nike missile batteries were stationed at many US cities and were America's primary defensive weapon throughout the early Cold War. Nike Ajax development began in 1945 and the missile became operational in 1953. Production ceased in 1958 with transition to newer and more powerful all-solid fuel Nike Hercule missile.
So guys, I hope you are liking my tour of Airspace Museum and a lot of good information, a lot of interesting things. So be with me and don't forget to subscribe my channel and encourage me to go to places and bring you more and more stuff. And I will see you in other videos.